power numbers for Beam the last 2 weeks? What's kind of he not doing that is allowing teams to hit for power off of him?
Usually there's pretty good location to both sides of the plate, and I haven't watched today's game on video, but I think some pitches, especially when he's ahead in the count, missing over the middle or the heart of the plate, and then there's also been occasions where he's behind in the count more than normal, so then he has to go. So ultimately, if you break it down, whether it's this team we just played or another one, if you're in the center of the plate too often, bad things can happen.
High left on base number, is that something you see as a positive that you're looking at guys on base, or a negative that you couldn't bring them in?
I probably jinxed it because I looked at that stat for our team and compared it to others in the SEC. And if you look at it, it's interesting. And I had 2 years ago, we had a pretty good team, and you guys would ask about it all the time. And it's probably not a popular answer, but to leave them on base, you got to get on base. And that's what we're trying to do. And you'll see a lot of the productive and best offenses have that as a high number. So chalk it up to some quality at bats. But, I thought when we pushed the first one across, others would come, but we just couldn't seem to do that. It was an odd day. And, as always, it takes two to tango. But, we're within decent striking distance. And normally when a guy walks five, you or someone else is going to make them pay. But again, they made a couple good plays defensively, and we just didn't get that first one across. Who knows what would happen if we would have.
Y'all know any more about Jared than you did yesterday?
Yeah, some soreness in there, just kind of confirmed, and he definitely real sore, more sore today than he was yesterday. So that's not a rush effort by us by any means. I'd like to see him out there playing as much as you all would, and the fans, and of course as eager as he is to get back out there. But we won't rush it. The soreness needs to go away, and then make sure he's got range of motion and make sure it's the best situation for him to get out there. And in the meantime, it's nice to have KT back. So you kind of make an unwanted trade there, if you know what I mean. But it's good that Dylan and KT are able to get in the lineup and get at bats. And then Griffin's always itching to get out there defensively too. So we'll manage it as we see fit as we head into Tuesday.
Have y'all been able to confirm that it's not a big deal, though, that he's all right? Like it's not like a huge long-term deal?
Yeah, I mean, what's a big deal is we're not going to have him here next year. So you'll see him play again in a Vol uniform, and then he'll move on to his pro career. But no, it's something that we got to manage day to day, and I stay way out of those ways. I wasn't joking yesterday. Some words were used yesterday and today that I don't even understand, but it does boil down to soreness.
What did you assess Halverson's outing?
It was good. Now he's not going to agree with that. That was his last hitter, no matter what, and we got him to a pitch count that he has not been at. So I don't think he's going to use that as a crutch, and I think the velocity was still there, if I'm not mistaken. A good hitter and a good competitor got one off him. When you add a walk to it, it's a little bit of trouble, and it probably puts a bit of a sour taste on the whole thing. I know he gave up a solo earlier, but that's cost of doing business as it relates to throwing strikes. But if you look at it 2 days from now when the emotions have gone away, he's been dying to start. He don't say it to me, but all these kids like the starting role, and he got a starting rep. He warmed up like a starter. He started the game for us, and he got to a pitch count that almost is worthy of, basically about what Lindsey did his first start. So now we know we can use him in that role, and certainly with his stuff, the way he was rolling, we know when he's at his best, we can use him in a Burns-type role. Chase was pretty dynamic, but you can lump Halvey in there when he had a groove in there for a minute. Those were our two best guys for moments over the weekend. So that's how I see it. Again, he's super competitive and charged off the mound and all that, and doesn't want to get hit. But if we're not going to win the game, I don't really care if it's 25-0. As long as we get to play 9 innings, I do care about that with all that goofy stuff. But I want to win or lose. We didn't win, so I think something good came out of it for Halvey.
Frustrating that A.J. Russell could only get 1 inning of work because of
a little bit. But again, I think you can pull a positive out of anything, and he's not the beefiest guy in the world, and he is young, and we like using him in a bunch of different situations. So if anything out of it, he got another SEC rep, but at the same time is still available on Tuesday. And he's, again, a guy we'd like to use in a variety of roles. So rather than gassing him out and he's not available for Thursday's SEC game, or not able to maybe do something that we think can set him up for future success on Tuesday, we'll take it the way it is.
What's the message going forward for Tuesday to snap back into it?
Yeah, keep pushing forward. I mean, that was kind of what the guys were saying in the dugout, so I jumped on board with it. it was like, dang it, we had these two guys on and didn't score, then we get the base loaded, didn't score, and it was a moment of frustration. I mean, you don't want a bunch of guys just, laissez-faire or whatever you want to call it, but then it was, let's just get back to it. And it sounds like a big-time loser comment when you lose 10-0, but it's a pretty good effort by the guys to show up the way they did today, despite being up 2-0, and then just all the way through the game. We just didn't have any results for it to show offensively, and it was a little bit of a quirky start to the whole thing, on the mound. So keep moving forward, as cliche as it is, picking up from yesterday's combo with you guys. But I think that is the key.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you all.